Hey there everyone, I'm Joshua Orro, the Mustang Prince, and welcome to Mustang Prince Orro Reports. Today, we're going to talk about another historical event. On Patriots Day, April 15th, 2013, something serious and intense happened during the Boston Marathon. A series of bombs exploded in which 3 people were killed and the rest were severely injured, thus starting an intense 4-day manhunt to track down the terrorists who caused said explosions. Now, since today is Patriots Day, I'll be blogging a movie that tells the story of this event and the manhunt that followed. Released on January 13th, 2017, the movie is Patriots Day. So, let's get started. Police Sergeant Tommy Saunders is pulling security duty on the annual Boston Marathon when the Sonarvez brothers strike with their homemade bombs in an act of terrorism. In the resulting chaos, as the wounded are cared for, Saunders and his comrades join forces with the FBI to get to the bottom of this attack. As the investigation continues, the brothers realize that the authorities are close to identifying them and attempt to flee the city to continue their fanatical mayhem. To stop them, a police manhunt is performed that would have bloody confrontations and a massive dragnet shutting down the city of Boston to make sure there is no escape from the law. So, what do I think of this? Well, the film started out alright, all quiet and peaceful, but then it becomes serious and suspenseful. But, did I enjoy it? Well, yeah. But before I get ahead of myself, let's move on to Mustang notes. The film is based on the book Boston Strong by Casey Sherman and Dave Wedge. The film's script was written by Matt Charman and focused on Boston Police Commissioner Edward F. Davis. Principal photography began on March 29, 2016, in Quincy and Boston, Massachusetts, with production offices and a soundstage set up in one of the Centennial Park warehouses in Peabody, Massachusetts. All interior scenes at the FBI warehouse headquarters, as well as exterior command tent scenes, were shot there. Filming was previously scheduled to take place on Laurel Street in Watertown to recreate the shootout that took place between the police and the terrorists on the actual location. But after objections by residents, town officials denied permission for the film to be shot there. The city of Malden was approached to stand in for Laurel Street, Watertown, and ended up with 8 locations in the film. Now, in my eyes, while the setting in Boston is top-notch, this disaster seems to be the most intense thing that happened in the history of America since 9/11/2001. Except, this has a less amount of people who died. Some parts of this film during the manhunt were interesting, with the authorities investigating, but it gets really serious when they take in several people for questioning and interrogation. But the suspenseful parts were when the bad guys were throwing bombs at the police. Now, this may be a bit off topic, but I need to give a little bonus fact. You see, during that time, one of my neighbors, Anastasia Amarova, was in Boston job hunting. And thank goodness she wasn't at the marathon when the explosions happened. Otherwise, she'd get hurt too. Anyway, now that we're done with Mustang notes, let's talk about the characters and the people who played as them. Let's begin with Sergeant Tommy Saunders, played by Mark Wahlberg, whom I talked about in my Transformers Age of Extinction blog. Ugh. Anyway, as mentioned earlier, Tommy is a cop who is first doing security duty during the Boston Marathon, but after the explosions, he is determined to find the culprits and bring them to justice. Now, to be honest, there was no real person named Tommy Saunders, since he's actually based off a number of different Boston police officers who worked on that day of the bombing. Boston Police Commissioner Ed Davis is played by John Goodman, whom I talked about in my blogs of We're Back, The Princess and the Frog, The Emperor's New Groove, and Kong Skull Island. Commissioner Davis was at the forefront of the emergency response to the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing and the arrests that followed. He built a stellar reputation on his diverse experience in interagency collaboration and law enforcement on local, state, national, and international levels. His keen insight in cybersecurity and anti-terrorism, as well as his expert knowledge in crisis management and strategic planning, translate across industries. Davis's unique approaches to terrorism, cybersecurity, and policing have been adopted both nationally and internationally in Singapore, London, Northern Ireland, Jordan, and Israel. Watertown Police Sergeant Jeffrey Pugliese, I hope I pronounced that right, is played by J.K. Simmons, whom I talked about in my blogs of Zootopia and Kung Fu Panda 3, as well as Rock Dog. This guy may not consider himself as a hero, but he does his best to do what he must, especially when he and several other cops join in and shoot one of the terrorists. Next we have Richard De Laurels, played by Kevin Bacon, best known from Balto and the 1984 Footloose movie. Richard is a special agent in the FBI's Boston field office. His role during this event is that he's assigned to investigate the bombing area along with Jeffrey and Ed in order to find clues of who caused the explosion. These are the Sarnaez brothers, played by Alex Wolff and Thermo Melidkinze. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. These boys are the guys who caused the explosions during the Boston Marathon, and good God, I can't believe they would do something that stupid. For 4 days, the city of Boston was in a state of confusion and fear as the brothers eluded capture. In the meantime, the brothers were attempting to flee to New York and cause more chaos. While on the way, they shot and killed MIT police officer Sean Collier, kidnapped a man named Dun Meg, and engaged in a horrific firefight with law enforcement agencies in nearby Watertown, where the older brother, Tamerlan, was ultimately killed, and Zeke Hawkar was later found in hiding. The last character I need to talk about is Dun Meg, played by Jimmy O. Yang, who has been on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Meng is the driver that the terrorists carjacked on April 18, 2013. What happened to Dunn was really frightening, but I thought he was really brave when escaping from them and calling the police at the gas station. Also, former U.S. President Barack Obama makes an appearance in this movie, though it's only recorded footage from one of his speeches during that time. Speaking of which, both Barack and his wife Michelle wrote to me when I became an Eagle Scout in 2009. And now, let's move on to my final words. Overall, Patriots Day is a great film to watch. The story is intense, serious, and thrilling. The setting in Boston is great, and the actors do fantastic at playing their characters. However, this is another film I wouldn't recommend for younger audiences due to all the terrorism, language, and the interrogation scenes. But if you'd like to add this movie to your collection of movies that tell stories of interesting American events, then by all means, go right ahead. As for my final rating, well, I'll give it an 80% out of 100. Well, that's it for today, everybody. Be sure to join me again next time, because next, we're going back to Neverland. Mustang power!